What's up, Raider Nation? You're on the Runnin' Raiders Report, and I'm your host, Brandon Steele. We're almost to the 2020 NFL Draft, and the Raiders have two picks in the first round, pick 12 and pick number 19. And this video is specifically about what specific position we need to go ahead and draft with our 19th pick. So at pick number 19, we really need to be looking at drafting a corner. And I'd like to start with a corner that's been showing up in a lot of mocks. It's been showing us draft this guy at number 12. It's been showing us drafting him at number 19. And I gotta say, I'd pass at 12 and 19 with this corner. This guy is CJ Henderson, the Florida Gator. Now in 2017 and 2018, CJ Henderson was a top 5 cornerback in the nation. He really was. You gotta remember, he comes from the SEC. So the talent that he's played against is some of the best in the entire United States. But last year just goes to show his weaknesses. He had a QBR that he would allow at 109 all year long. Not very good. He gave up a boatload of yards, and while he only gave up 3 touchdowns, he had 0 interceptions. The Raiders desperately need a defensive playmaker. They need a guy that forces fumbles. They need a guy that gets picks. And most importantly, the NFL is a what have you done for me lately league. And in 2019, CJ Henderson wasn't very good. Teams are banking on him going back to how good he was 2017, 2018 because he was a legitimate corner those 2 seasons at Florida. But ever since then, he's been on a downhill slope. Still, mocks have us taking him at 12 or 19, and a lot of teams, such as the Cowboys, would love to have him. They can go ahead and take him. Because Raider Nation, I really think we should pass on drafting CJ Henderson. Now here's a corner that I would love for the Raiders to draft at the 19th pick. It would be a reach to get him at 12, and it's completely unrealistic. But at 19, this player should be right there for us. He kind of came on late in the process of draft research and kind of finding who the Raiders need and who could be a good fit. But I found this guy, and a lot of the Raider Nation has too. That's TCU Horned Frog Jeff Gladney. My favorite thing about Jeff Gladney is how much of a heavy hitter he is. He's got a real Raider mentality to him. And at TCU, they loved bringing him on corner blitzes. We haven't brought a corner in on a blitz in a long time because we didn't even have a corner who's good enough to cover. Gladney can do both. He's really great at covering, and he's a heavy hitter. He loves lighting people up and hitting them in the mouth. The Raiders need both. Here's some stats about Jeff Gladney. He doesn't allow a QBR over 45 in his 2018 season. And in 2019, the QBR he allowed was only 72, which is actually pretty good for a corner at the college level. Then, on 46 targets, he only allowed 10 catches in 2019, with 27 of them being incompletions or pass breakups. He's a very good corner, and he's got great speed. I think he should be there at number 19 for the Raiders, and I would love for us to draft Jeff Gladney. Here's another corner that the Raiders might be looking at getting at number 19, and he's from the University of Utah. He's a Ute. It's Jalen Johnson. Now, Jalen Johnson kind of got himself involved with the Raiders by predicting that the Raiders would be hitting his line at the 19th pick when he was on a Move the Sticks podcast. Nevertheless, Jalen Johnson is a legit corner, ladies and gentlemen. Raider Nation, we can use a Jalen Johnson. He's a dark horse pick for the Raiders at number 19, and I would understand why he would predict that we would pick him at pick number 19, and here's why. He's a 3-year starter at the University of Utah, and he's a high-minded football freak. He loves being in the film room. 2 things real quick. He hasn't allowed a QBR over 59 his entire career. He's had a total of 5 interceptions at the University of Utah. He's a defensive playmaker, and more than that, he loves being in the film room. He's a high football guy, high character guy. John Gruden's huge on that. Mike Mayock's huge on that. And I found it in an interview after he had a pick 6 off of Washington quarterback Jacob Eason. He said the countless hours of tape, he knew the exact formation, he knew the exact play, and it gives him confidence to jump routes and get interceptions. He's got a lot of confidence in his high-level football IQ to do those types of things. Another fun fact about Jalen Johnson I found was J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, and now a Philadelphia Eagle. He was one of the best red zone touchdown catchers in the Pac-12 at Stanford. Jalen Johnson was the only one to go defend him on 50-50 balls and also come away with the interception. He's a good character. He's a great kid. The Raiders love off-the-field, high-character guys, and Jalen Johnson also backs it up on the field. It could be a dark horse pick for us, Raider Nation, but I do like Jalen Johnson. Now, we've all heard this corner's name in mock drafts, and we've all been hearing about his name even before our season ended, in the way too early mocks, if you will. This is cornerback AJ Terrell from the University of Clemson. We love drafting Clemson players, and they actually are really, really good. Hunter Renfrow, Farrell, Trayvon Mullen. We do a really good job at bringing in those Dabo Sweeney boys and making them into Raiders. AJ Terrell's voice that he would love to reunite with his former compadre, Trayvon Mullen, over here in Las Vegas. I would be down with it. AJ Terrell has one of the best prototype builds in the draft. He's 6'2", 185 pounds, and he's got a lot of muscle on him. He's a big boy, and he's got long arms, and he's relatively fast. Unfortunately, recent memory of AJ Terrell was him getting roasted by Jamar Chase in the Natty for 143 yards, a touchdown off of only 5 catches, I think. We got to put that in the past because his entire career at Clemson, he had 6 interceptions, and he's already played on the field with Trayvon Mullen before. He's a possible Raider. I like his build, but he needs to come in ready to work very hard. And if he is able to do that, we've seen him do things before in the national championships against Tua Tagovailoa, where he picked him off, jumped the route perfectly, took it back to the house for a touchdown in a big game, along with the fact that he's very good in press, and he can even play a little zone. It'd be a great pick for the Raiders to take a chance on AJ Terrell and reunite 2 Clemson corners. So Raider Nation, we went through 4 corners just now that we might be taking in the NFL draft at the 19th pick. Maybe CJ Henderson at 12, but due to my research and the way our history kind of goes when we take a chance on a corner that early, really blows up on our face. Conley, DJ Hayden, Fabian Washington, the list can go on and on. I would pass on CJ Henderson. He's probably the guy that I want the least out of this bunch. I really like Jalen Johnson. He's got high character, and I think the Raiders would love to have him on the team. He does need to fix his hip movement, though. He's very stiff, he's very slow, but he can get better at that with the right mindset and being guided properly. Then there's Jeff Gladney, heavy hitter, great speed, one of the best downfield cornerbacks in the entire draft. He could be a perfect Raider as well. And then, of course, a Clemson Tiger. We love having Clemson boys on our team here in Vegas, here in the Raider Nation. We have a lot of them. Could we draft AJ Terrell? I think it could work. Time will tell as we get closer to the NFL draft. Thanks for watching Running Raiders Report, guys. See you next time.